leader Chuck Schumer, the highest ranking Jewish elected official in the federal government, was, quote, not Jewish anymore, saying he has become Palestinian. Last night, Andrew Cuomo went into a synagogue in my city and attacked me, the highest ranking Jewish elected official in New York City government. Here's what I have to say about it. A bezer gzar zoler after kumen. For the non-Yiddish speakers, that roughly translates as, get the fuck out of here. Donald Trump doesn't get to tell Chuck Schumer how to be Jewish, and Andrew Cuomo doesn't get to tell me how to be Jewish. But here's the bigger point. Non-Jews weaponizing anti-Semitism to score political points, especially but not only by attacking proud Jews, is offensive and dangerous. Not only does Andrew Cuomo have a long history of weaponizing anti-Semitism to advance his own personal ambitions, he also has a very disturbing record that he has to answer for when it comes to Jewish communities. First, Andrew Cuomo is the only candidate in this race who has been sued for anti-Semitism. That's right, 3 Jewish congregations sued Cuomo for discriminating against Hasidic and Haredi communities during the pandemic, specifically citing his clear-cut, quote, streak of anti-Semitic discrimination and his history of making, and I quote, negative, false, and discriminatory statements against the Orthodox Jewish community. It gets worse. When Cuomo resigned in disgrace in 2021, it was reported that he had complained about having to celebrate the Jewish holiday of Sukkot, saying, those people and their effing tree houses. We have a sukkah in my backyard every year, Andrew, and I plan to have one at Gracie Mansion. I'm sorry if that bothers you. It was also recently reported in the Times that he created a PAC that he claimed was for combating anti-Semitism. He raised lots of money for it and got a lot of great press off it, and then delivered literally nothing except a couple of op-eds. Now, maybe that's all he wanted in the first place, was some press for himself. Now that he's running for mayor, the whole thing is clear. He views Jews as nothing more than pawns for his political interests. Now, to be fair, I'm not totally sure that that's anti-Semitic. That's really how he views everyone. It's especially rich that Cuomo would make this attack in a synagogue while he refuses to participate in any forums or debates. We know he likes to attack and abuse and bully people, but in this race, he's running like a chicken. He's afraid to say anything critical of Donald Trump. He's afraid to debate me. He's afraid to appear at forums with his opponents. Andrew, if you want to question my commitment to my people, say it to my face. And if you're ready to answer for your record of offensive activity towards Jewish people, let's hear it. I'm proud to have put out the most comprehensive plan for combating anti-Semitism of any candidate in the race, anti-Semitism and hate crimes more broadly. My plan includes strengthening the NYPD's partnership with the Citizens Crime Commission to identify violent extremism online and prevent it from moving offline. It includes beefing up the Hate Crimes Task Force and the Mayor's Office to combat hate crimes. And it includes promoting education in our high schools through an innovative approach in which the students themselves become educators. My plan, for what it's worth, also includes keeping the first Jewish woman police commissioner, who I'm pretty sure would not want to work for a man who's been accused by a state trooper of sexual harassment. I'll do a better job than either Eric Adams or Andrew Cuomo of keeping Jews safe in this city, which has been an extraordinary haven for us for well over a century. Really, I think the choice New Yorkers face comes down to this. Andrew Cuomo's approach to leadership is driven by his desire to weaponize literally anything for his personal political gain, including the suffering of ostracized people. That and his massive ego, where his first instinct every time is to bully and abuse others in an effort to make him look like a tough guy. But that doesn't make the city safer for anyone. In fact, it's already sent thousands of people to their deaths. My approach is different, and it comes from Rabbi Hillel, who said, Im ein ani li mili uksha'ani la'atzmi ma'ani. If I'm not for myself, who will be for me? But if I am for myself alone, what am I? I'll build a city where everyone is safe from hatred and where Andrew Cuomo's political scheming and corruption are a distant memory. Thanks very much for being here this morning.
Take your questions.
Controller, first on the substance, how does your plan differ from what Andrew Cuomo laid out yesterday? Notwithstanding the text, he said accepting the IRA definition, anti-Semitism, teaching Holocaust education, which he also proposed.
Yeah.
And on the text, what do you respond to his also his allies saying that he didn't invest in Israel?
So the two questions. Well, the first question was, how does my plan differ from Cuomo's on combating anti-Semitism? First, I have a much more comprehensive plan. Starts with a stronger partnership with the Citizens Crime Commission, who have a great tool called DEEP, D-E-E-P, for looking online and seeing signs of violent extremism and engaging with a really creative approach that they have to address the issue, whether it's a mental health issue or really looks like a law enforcement issue, to prevent any serious violent extremist attack in the city. It's the kind of thing that I think could have prevented what happened in Pittsburgh. And I'll strengthen the partnership between the NYPD and, Richard Aborn is who runs Citizen Crime Commission, sat down with him to deepen that partnership. Eric Adams has let both the Hate Crimes Task Force and especially the Mayor's Office to Combat Hate Crimes really wither away, and I will strengthen them. So if you're a synagogue or a mosque or a church that wants to have a car outside, you could get it. But also make sure we're using other resources so that if you want to have cameras or other kinds of protection, you can get it. As for education, the model that we have, I think, is the most fleshed out of anyone in the race. It builds on this great model developed for anti-Asian hate by an organization, CACF, where they train high school students to be the educators themselves. And actually went to Midwood High School last year and watched as a senior named Julie Sue taught this amazing class to Black and Latino and Jewish and other students. And you could just see them start to think differently about the history of Asian Americans in New York City, what anti-Asian hate is. And I want to have that so that Jewish students are doing that for their classmates, both in the public schools, but also from yeshivas. So you're building some bridges. And Black students and Latino students. I really think we could have a powerful anti-hate education program that'll most effectively combat anti-Semitism in a way that's deeper than, Andrew Cuomo going into a synagogue and attacking Blacks and Jews. So that's the first. To the second, I'm going to get the numbers later today, but I think the investments that the New York City pension funds have today in Israel they're north of $400 million, about $437 million that the pension funds have invested in Israel. That number has grown on my watch. I don't support the boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement. I never have, and I never will.
Would you accept the IRA?
I don't think it's valuable. There's, as you know, debate around the definitions of anti-Semitism, and I think trying to narrow to one or exclude the others doesn't help us do what's necessary to actually prevent hate and prevent anti-Semitism in our city.
Henry?
I don't mean to move off a very important topic, but we are just getting word that the mayor's charges were dropped with prejudice, meaning they cannot be brought back, of course. What is your reaction to that? Do you expect him to still run as a Democrat or now pivot to running as an independent?
First, I want to praise, I haven't seen the news yet, but so I'm having to take your word for what is, but I trust you. I want to praise Judge Dale Ho I think we're starting to see now who are the people that stand up with courage in the face of Trump's authoritarianism. We saw that at Wilmer Hale and at Jenner and Block and at Cornell. Danielle Sasson was one of the first people to show some guts, and Judge Dale Ho as well, by insisting on having Paul Clement, by rejecting the proposal to dismiss without prejudice. A dismissal with prejudice obviously is far superior to one without prejudice that would leave our mayor, dangling on a string every day. I have no idea what Eric Adams will do, whether he will run at all as a Democrat, as an independent. What I know is this: New Yorkers are fed up with Eric Adams' leadership. They don't like a mayor that works for Donald Trump and not for New Yorkers, but they also don't like a mayor who's failed to deliver on affordable housing or address the mental health crisis in our subways, and who has let corruption run rampant at City Hall. So I can say this with certainty: he will not be reelected in November.
And does this at least relieve some of the concern in the immediate that he can better steward the city, at least for the rest of the year, if you get your druthers?
It is far better if there is a dismissal. Look, I think there should be a trial, let me be clear. I mean, it's hard to remember, but this is because he sold out our city to officials from Turkey and left a building unsafe. I think, he should be held accountable for that. But if there's going to be a dismissal with prejudice is far superior to a dismissal without prejudice. I think that's why the 4 deputy mayors resigned, is that they did not feel comfortable serving under those terms. We need public servants who will feel comfortable serving for the rest of the year. So again, I think he should be held accountable for his corruption, but I am glad Judge Ho switched it to be a dismissal with prejudice, so that we don't have the level of chaos that we had in those few weeks.
Thank you for taking that pivot question. I appreciate it.
Holly?
Just these issues of antisemitism are coming up in your former city council district. There's a challenge to your former staffer, Sean. I'm just curious if you have thoughts about that race. Are you going to be endorsing in that race?
I don't have any comments on it at this time. I haven't made endorsements in any council races yet, and I'll have more to say on them in the future.
And are you making any play for the Orthodox vote in New York City? Are you
Absolutely. I'm pitching, for everyone's vote. I was proud to serve as the representative of a good chunk of Borough Park when I was in the city council. And we did a lot of work together. What New Yorkers want across religion, is somebody who works hard and shows up for them, who make sure the streets are clean. There were fires in Borough Park, and I got down there in the middle of the night to make sure families got relocated. You've got yeshivas trying to deal with garbage piled up in front of their schools, and they want to make sure it gets collected by the sanitation department. I am proud to have a deep set of relationships. Probably one of my deepest relationships is with Rabbi Alex Rappaport of the Masbia Soup Kitchens, where my son Marek had one of his bar mitzvah events, and who came when Superstorm Sandy hit and fed the 500 frail elderly at the Park Slope Armory. The Chesed organizations in that community have been an inspiration to me personally and Jewishly, but also as a sign of what New York City can be politically. And I'm seeking Jewish votes, including certainly Hasidic and Haredi votes. I'm seeking Muslim votes and Christian votes and Sikh votes and Hindu votes and non-believer, non-believer votes. It's an amazing city. It really is. I have been blessed. Was at Jamaica Muslim Center for the last Juma before Eid. Last night, I was at Congregation. Actually, this is worth saying. Last night, while Andrew Cuomo was in a synagogue attacking me, I was in a synagogue at Congregation Beth Elohim, where they were playing the film No Accidents, which is about the effort by this organization Integrity First to prosecute the Charlottesville anti-Semites and extremists. I feel blessed to travel around this whole city, and I absolutely will be seeking the votes of Orthodox Jews and everybody else.
Did you want to ask us?
Oh yeah, we're good. Yeah, so as I said, Andrew Cuomo, his first instinct all the time is bullying and abuse. And the fact that Mayor Stephanie Miner, revealed in her book that on multiple occasions he abused and harassed her, is just one more indication of what an abuser he is. He was an abuser as governor. He'd be an abuser as mayor. He doesn't make anybody safe. He's not what New York needs.
Okay, thank you.
All right.